Good afternoon. Today my group and I are going to talk to you about energyplan.eu, which is a website that focuses on sustainable energy planning and models. Basically, we're going to evaluate the website and then propose improvements to the website based on tools and web technologies, and then we're going to demonstrate all of this in a mock-up. So first, a brief introduction. The internet is becoming an increasingly important source for academic research. In fact, 68% of people report it as their first source for research regarding school and professional projects. And websites like energyplan.eu, their main purpose is to share knowledge and facilitate knowledge transfer based on the insights that they've previously explored. However, often this is restricted by the poor presentation and accessibility of these websites. Now to the evaluation of the website. We evaluated the site in two methods based on the user experience and the performance of the site. So the user experience, we evaluated this based on the 5 elements of user experience developed by Jesse James Garrett. These are the strategy, scope, structure, skeleton, and surface. So we believe that the strategy of the site was good. The site has a clear direction to share knowledge and to promote the use of the energy model they designed, and this is really reflected in the content-driven nature of the site, as well as the multiple locations to download the model and the additional help information. The scope of the website is also good. We identified that it had a range of content in various forms of media, which allowed a user to really experience content in his preferred method. However, with the structure, we started to identify the first issues. The structure in general is quite complex and it lacks clarity. There's multiple menus that have drop-down functionality, and even the drop-down menus then are not always related to the top heading, so we found that issue. Also, there was several broken links on the site, and the website also lacked a search function that was easily findable. The skeleton of the site was okay. In general, it follows the F shape suggested by the Nielsen and Norman group. Also, there's the hover function on the menus that we identified as a good functionality. However, also in the skeleton we saw some issues. For example, the headings did not really represent the hierarchy of the website, and on occasion the content was not always formatted in the same way. The surface was the largest issue. To us it seemed very bland. For example, it uses a white background quite frequently and orange accents, which we did not identify as attractive. Also, it has a lot of small text, which is hard to read. Also, there were no large images, and in general, the site lacked engagement to users, so we identified this as the largest issue of user experience. Now to the performance. We measured the performance based on the website's cross-browser compatibility, its loading time, its accessibility, and its responsiveness. Thereby, we identified several issues with the website's cross-browser compatibility, as it showed inconsistencies between browsers. Although it ran perfectly in Chrome, for example in Mozilla it didn't show videos, or the videos didn't load, and in Safari there was text flowing out of the divs. The loading time of the website was also a problem, as it was relatively slow. Using Google's Test My Site, we evaluated the speed, and this showed us that the mobile speed was 53 out of 100, and the desktop speed was ranked 50 out of 100, both which were identified as poor by Google. The accessibility of the website was also not great. The website's only available in English, which limits its reach in society. And for example, there were also no functions for persons with disabilities, which further limited the site. The responsiveness of the website was also again not great. It had no adjusted formats for notepads and mobiles. This led to the website not fitting entirely onto those screens. Therefore, we identified 5 areas of improvement for the site. The first one being the loading time, the user interface, the accessibility, the cross-browser compatibility, and the responsiveness. To improve the website's loading time, we proposed several measures. Firstly, we believe that they should optimize the images by compressing them. Hereby they can take advantage of tools such as OptimizeZilla. Similarly, they should also compress their HTML, CSS, and JavaScript by using tools such as HTML minifier, CSS Nano, and Uglify.js. Thirdly, they should also take advantage of browser caching, which would allow them to store files in the user's browser so that these don't have to be loaded every single time that page is loaded. We believe that these changes are justified by the fact that 39% of people report that they will stop engaging with a website if it is too slow. To improve the user interface, we recommend to resize the typography to above 14 pixels. Furthermore, we recommend that consistent size, style, and coloring is used on the website. We also suggest that the website layout is adapted and its color scheme is changed to something more modern. Furthermore, we also wish that they add large high-quality images. All of these features can be easily done using CSS functions or the stylizer application. We believe that these changes are justified by the fact that 38% of people stop engaging with a website if it's unattractive. To enhance the site's accessibility, we recommend that they make a search bar readily available. Furthermore, we recommend that they may add further languages to the site as to remove any potential language barrier. We also recommend that they make the site disability friendly. This can be done by adapting click areas or allowing for a section for disabled text and adding guidance for specific disabilities. All of these changes can be done within HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, as well as using Wave to identify potential issues with accessibility. We believe that these changes are justified, as not only are they legally required to make a site accessible for everyone, but also by the fact that 14% of the working population within Europe has a disability, and therefore it is only logical to allow for a greater reach of the website. To ensure cross-browser compatibility, we believe that two measures should be taken. The first one being that a reset code is added to the CSS so that all browsers interpret the CSS in a consistent normalized format. And the second one being that browser prefixes are used for individual elements so that also these are standardized. The browser prefixes can be added manually or using prefixer. We believe that these changes are justified, as if cross-browser compatibility is low, it may lead to visual errors which reduce the user experience. To increase the responsiveness of the site, we recommend that a mobile website is created. This can be done using Cordova and its cross-platform workflow. This transforms and executes the code in separate wrappers, which are targeted at different platforms, allowing the mobile site to be used on many different mobile devices. This is incredibly important, as 51% of all websites are loaded on mobiles, and therefore having a mobile optimized site is incredibly important to the user experience. Using Azure as a wireframing tool, a mock-up of the website has been created, and as you can see, multiple changes have been done. For example, all of the divs have been fixed and there's no more overflowing text. And on top of that, all of the planned improvements have been undertaken. As you can see, there's a disabled section and additional languages have been added, and the color scheme has also been optimized to a more modern look. Furthermore, a separate mobile mockup has also been created, and again, multiple changes can be observed. Primarily, the content has been optimized to the size of the screen, and this is clearly visible by the main menu, which is much larger and much more usable for someone using a mobile device. Lastly, the screen has also been optimized so that when it is turned and viewed horizontally, the content changes and is also optimized for the horizontal screen. Overall, we believe that all of the changes that we made in the main 5 areas are great improvements to the site, and we believe that the web technologies that we have suggested would make these possible. However, we do notice that all the changes are purely theoretical, therefore when put in place, further considerations have to be taken into account.